Yo, gang, 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 what's up? It's Trollbot.EXE, Trollbot.EXE, the guy who hits the gritties, and welcome back to Trollbot Studios. And welcome to Sentai Suits Part 2, where I review all of the Sentai suits from Turboranger all the way to Timeranger, aka the early Heisei era. If you haven't watched the first video, I suggest you check that out. Also, fun fact, Goggle 5 was actually the first Sentai that Toei did entirely themselves, as Go Ranger and JKQ were collaborations with Ishimori Productions, and Battle Fever J through Sun Vulcan were collaborations with Marvel. Also, Bioman was supposed to be adapted into Power Rangers, and it even got a pilot, though it never got picked up, and the pilot is mostly lost. Besides those notes, let's begin the video with Turboranger. Yeah, I don't care for these suits all that much. Like, why do they have the big T's on them? And also, I know how they're going for the car motif, but why the helmets? They look like a downgraded version of Mega Rangers. Mega Ranger we're gonna check on a little later. Now, let's go on to 5-Man. Yellow, yellow. Why is there so much yellow? Seriously, like, why is there so much yellow on the costumes? And also, I get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 motif that's in the opening, but that all it really has going for it. Yeah, I don't care for these suits either. But Jetman, however, yeah, I really like these suits with the bird motifs, how they actually use the color white good. Yay! My only real gripe is with White Swan, as a lot of times I often confuse her to be a pink ranger instead of a white ranger. That being because the outside of her costume is colored pink, while the rest of them are colored white. Now, let's move on to Zyuranger. These suits, they're okay. They look like they could be the first Sentai. In fact, I think they're a better looking version of Go Ranger. And I really like Dragon Ranger Shield. Besides that, these costumes are okay with the diamond patterns and how the helmets form dinosaurs. Yeah, let's move on to Ranger. Yeah, these suits are also mid. Yeah, the vests really don't mesh well together with the whole thing. Like, the only one that really stands out is Kiba Ranger. I really like his vest, and I get why they use him in Power Rangers because he also kind of fits in the Zyuranger. But as someone who got familiar with Sentai first, he still sticks out like a sore thumb. Overall, these suits are kinda good, just I kind of wish they could have done more with the vests. Now with Kaku Ranger Ninja. About as basic as you can get. Yeah, I seriously wish they could have done more with them. However, they still look pretty good. Yeah, they're just inoffensive, and yet not aesthetically stands out. So, let's move on to O-Ranger. Now, these suits are good. Like, they stand out in the right ways. Also, like Goggle 5, O-Ranger has an ancient civilization motif and also superpowers. And unlike Goggle 5, whose costumes get worse as you go from bottom to top, O-Rangers actually gets better, especially with King Ranger. I really like how they did his chest. And also the symbols on the helmets actually look aesthetically pleasing. Now let's move on to Car Ranger. Yeah, I really do not like these helmets. They have to be some of the worst helmets in Sentai. Like, I like the car motif they were going, but the helmets just fumbled the bag. Otherwise, they actually look pretty good. Now let's move on to Mega Ranger. These suits are good. I like how they incorporate the technology motif with the buttons, and also how smooth they look. They're basically a combination of Cackle Ranger and Car Ranger, just with the elements smoothed out. Now let's move on to Ginga Man. The suits are mostly okay and inoffensive. However, in the center, there's something about it. I can't put my finger on it. Oh yeah, why do they have stripes like they're Charlie Brown? Someone in the design team must really like them. And the Peanuts. Also, these are pretty cool helmets. As the helmets form the animal they're supposed to represent, like the gorilla and lion. Now, let's go on to Go 5. These are mostly inoffensive and don't really represent their theme well. Well, except for the helmets, which represent different branches of authorities. And let's go on to our final suit for today, Timeranger. I really don't like the chests. And the helmets, they're actually really good. Along with the feet. And I like how Time Fire looks different from Time Red because half of his stuff is black. And that's all the time we have for today, folks. Next time, we go into the late Heisei era, from Gal Ranger all the way to Ryu Soldier. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a much longer video. And that'll actually be a good way to start off your 2024. And in the meantime, later, fools.